I've done all of Brighton.
Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another Spicy Boy review episode. How you doing? You're doing well. Hope you're pulling your heads in, looking after each other and all that jazz. Yeah, don't know what episode we're up to, but fuck it. We'll just, keep them coming, I suppose. Big thank you to all the people who have liked, subscribed, viewed these episodes. I'm very thankful for all your love and support. And without further ado, let's stop piss farting around and let's get straight into the review. Why not? So today's movie is Long Story Short. Teddy, a supposed workaholic who loves to put things off in his life, wakes up the morning after his wedding to discover that every few minutes he jumps forward to the next year of his life. He then has to play catch-up off the year just past and learn how much of a piece of shit he's been. Discoveries, self-reflections, and lessons will be learned along the way in this quirky comedy with a message. Long story short, in an hour-and-a-half film, I'd bloody say so. Yes, and that was a synopsis for Long Story Short, an Australian film. Yes, indeed. My second review of Australian film, because fuck it, let's support local art. This film was written and directed by Josh Lawson, who rose to fame on Australian TV, most of you might know, on an improvisational comedy show called Thank God You're Here. And for those of you who don't know, they get semi-famous comedians, they put them in a situation and they have to bluff their way through whatever situation they're chucked into. There could be a pilot, there could be a plumber, there could be a CIA agent, whatever. It's just like an improvisational comedy show. It's not on air anymore, but I was on a cheeky episode once as a little side performer. It was a good show. It was really good. So that's where Josh Lawson, he was a reoccurring cast member on that. He's played some legendary people on TV. There was a miniseries where he played Paul Hogan, which is a legend of Australian comedy. He's played sort of like a pseudo young version of Rupert Murdoch in Anchorman 2, which he was really good in, and that movie, very underrated. Didn't like it when it came out, but on second and third viewing, it gets funnier. Never going to be as good as the first one, but I digress. And I think his first starring role was, his first lead starring role was an Australian film called Any Questions for Ben, and the less said about that steaming pile of piece of shit, the better. And also, Josh Lawson is going to play, or he's already played it, it's about to come out, Kano in the new Mortal Kombat reboot. So he's fucking kicking goals, good old Josh Lawson. Good on him. It's a small cast, this movie, in Long Story Short. We've got our protagonist, which is played by Rafe Spall from Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom fame. And I didn't realise, but he actually is the son of legendary UK actor Timothy Spall. A little bit of trivia there that I found out by researching him. Good on him, I suppose. We also have Zara Newman playing Rafe Spall's wife in it, and she's very good in it. We've got comedian Ronnie Chen, who is always great in everything he's in. And Josh Lawson does a little cameo himself, of course. You can tell by the trailer of this film that it's obviously going to be like a life lesson kind of quirky comedy. In the same vein as Click and The Family Guy and Groundhog Day, which gets a few references in this film, oddly enough, and quite amusingly so. And of course, those films have like an angel character, I suppose you could say, who pops up and cryptically warns our protagonist about the curse or the gift, however you want to look at it, and I suppose not necessarily the rules, but, sort of sets up that something is going to happen to the protagonist, something mystical possibly. And of course this character, this angel character, is played by Australia's favourite mum, Noni Hazelhurst, because God knows it can't be an Australian production without good old Noni. Love her, she's amazing. She pops up out of nowhere though, like, the film starts, and when it starts, it starts, if that makes sense. It doesn't fucking stop. And she pops up out of nowhere, Noni, and warns our protagonist, and then offers him a cryptic gift, which in this case is a tin can. And does this tin can come back or have any significance throughout the film or at the end of the film? You bet your fucking ass it does, but more about that later. And then, boom, we're right into the shenanigans. The movie barrels through at breakneck speed. It just no slow burn, drama here. No, we're not here to fuck spiders. We've got a fucking movie to get through. It just goes straight into it. We know our protagonist is a procrastinating piece of shit because it's mentioned like every couple of seconds in the opening to this film, and then throughout as well. He puts things off in his life. He, apparently he's a workaholic. We don't see it, but we hear about it. As I said, we get reminded every couple of seconds that he's a procrastinator, and hence, like, he's been gifted with this curse, I suppose, of his life being fast forward every couple of minutes, 1 year ahead. Now, as I said, the movie barrels through at a breakneck speed, and I have a feeling that might have been a stylistic choice because of the concept of, like, every couple of minutes his life fast forward every year to the same date, and that same date is his wedding anniversary, the day they got married. So it fast forwards every couple of minutes to then. And the film only really has 4 locations, I think I counted. There might have been more, but I don't remember them. And as I said, it was a core cast of mainly 4 people, only a couple of locations. It felt like kind of like an adaptation of a play, which is not a bad thing, because they can be great. Like, I really like that Denzel Washington movie, Fences, which is adapted by a play. However, it was a bit fucking long, which most plays are. But this, in an hour and a half, it was like a short play, which is, again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, just something I noticed. With the film's power structure, as I said before, it fast forwards every couple of minutes to the same date, a year later, which is, as I said before, his wedding anniversary. And of course, Rafe Spall's character has not got a wedding anniversary present because he's a forgetful piece of shit. He's a workaholic, like we've been told over and over again. Which is, of course, Zara Newman, his wife, is obviously disappointed. She got him something. And there's a bit of a spine throughout this film of a structure. It's not necessarily a spoiler alert. We know he's going to fast forward for 10 years every couple of minutes. And I don't know if you realise this, or I didn't, anyway, I had to Google it, but the film uses a structure of wedding anniversary presents. Now, I don't know how ancient this is or how old it is, but apparently you have to get your partner every year on a wedding anniversary, there's a different present. So the first year is paper, for instance. You're meant to give your partner paper. The year after that is cotton. The third year after that is leather, and so on and so on and so on. I didn't know this, and I don't know anyone who does know this. I'm sure there's heaps of you who do. Comment below if you do. But yeah, so it uses that spine of a structure in a way that, like, as I said, it's every year it fasts forward, and it's their wedding anniversary, and it uses this structure in a weird way. I don't know how to explain it. It's a bit odd, but yeah, the wedding gift is sort of a spine throughout this. That made no sense, but again, I'm trying not to spoil this fucking movie here. But as I said, it makes sense later on why they're using this spine, this pseudo structure. Again, I won't spoil it, but it comes into play why they're doing it this way. I felt it was a bit unfair though, because although he does fast forward every couple of minutes, he does seem really forgetful, because obviously he doesn't remember living this whole year. So he doesn't remember prior engagements, specific memories or life events, and he comes across as a massive piece of shit to his wife, played by Zara Newman. But I felt like that might be a bit unfair because he doesn't remember living it, because he hasn't, technically. He just fast forward. Again, this is really nitpicky territory, and it's not necessarily... It doesn't ruin the movie, because it's still quite quirky and funny, but it's just something I noticed. If you, like with time travel movies, you can really dismantle it if you think too hard about it. And that was just something that was in the back of my mind while watching this. Like, oh yes, but it's not necessarily his fault that he's forgotten this stuff, because technically he hasn't lived it. But anyway, I digress. In saying all this stuff as well, like obviously the film's a life lesson and a metaphor, it could come across as heavy-handed, but it doesn't. The scenes are beautifully handled, the acting is amazing, and the script is really fucking tight. Like, it's really good, really quirky. It seems like that this could be like the 100th draft. It's really quick. The actors have really good chemistry with each other. It's amazing. A fucking plus around the board for all of that sort of stuff. It does look a little bit like a TV movie at times, but honestly, I was in and out with that. It was hard to notice because the acting was so good, the writing was so funny, and there was a lot of references and callbacks, which, being a comedian, I fucking love. And that shows a really tight script, that there's things set up at the start of the movie and comes into play in the middle, a little bit towards the end, and then at the end again. But you didn't see it coming a mile away. It was quite surprising and refreshing. And it was really fucking entertaining. Another thing, a trope that movies do that kind of annoys me as well is this romanticizing of poverty in a way. And I'll explain what that is. It's when the characters say, oh, we were much happier when we had nothing. I call bullshit on that because I've got practically fuck all. Me and my fiance are very happy, but you know what would make us a little bit more happy? Fucking more money. We wouldn't have to worry about rent. It takes the weight off your shoulders for certain things in your life, paying the bills and stuff like that. I don't like when it romanticizes poverty, especially when it's being written by people who obviously aren't poor. You know, these people are lucky enough to make and work on films. They've got money, and this whole we're the struggling artists. Remember when we were poor? We were so much happier then when we were drinking $2 bottle of wine. Fuck off, okay? That's utter bullshit. It is such bullshit. Having money would take the weight off your shoulders. I mean, it can change people, sure, but I don't know. If you're a good person, you will be a good person, even with a bit more money, I guess. I don't know. I just hate that whole romanticizing poverty in these films. Is ooh, we're much happier when we're poor. Rubbish. But of course, money evil, greed bad, and that's where we're at. Mo money, mo problems. Mo way. But the metaphors are strong with this one, okay? It's all about hindsight. There's no time like the present. And we get some inspirational quote bangers in this film. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. If you hold something too tight, it can slip through your hands. Life's too short. Every moment counts. Bitches ain't shit! Snitches get stitches. Don't get high on your own supply. Do it. Or do not. There is no try. Okay, maybe those last few weren't actually in the film, but YOLO gets a bit of screen time here, quite oftenly so. Now, does the aforementioned tin cup back into play? You bet your fucking ass it does! And it actually is the key to all this. It's interesting to say that. It's the key to all this. About an inanimate object other than a teenage girl with superpowers like a lot of Hollywood films do. But the tin cup is the key to all this. And obviously it wraps everything up nicely. And very sweet and tender moment too. Not going to spoil it, but yeah, it was quite lovely. Again, I'm not going to spoil this ending because same with Occupation Rainfall. I don't want to spoil it because I want you to fucking see it. This film is sweet. It's good. It's a solid 3-star film. Now, I think we diminish 3-star films in film culture. I think we poo-poo it. Which I think is bullshit, because there's nothing wrong with a solid 3-star film. Not every film has to be Schindler's List or Shawshank Redemption. Not every film has to fucking change your life, okay? You want to go see a film that you pay money for, that you've worked hard for. You want to walk out of that cinema and go, that was a good film. That was a solid good film. Not going to change my life, but it's definitely one that you'll chuck on again. Which, again, I think is highly underrated in films. What's a film that you want to chuck on over and over again? And even if you're not really paying attention to it, but you just have it on in the background, those films are fucking great, okay? That's what keeps the industry alive. It's like another Aussie film, Snowtown, which is fucking brilliant and brutal about murders in Australia. It's a true story, and I saw that, and it fucking hit me really hard, and it was brutal and shocking and well acted, and again, very high up, maybe a 4-star film or something, but I'm not going to fucking watch it again, because it's not a pleasant watch. This is, and there's nothing wrong with that. A solid 3-star film is good, and we should welcome them more often, especially the trash that I've been seeing fucking lately, 2-star maximum, just rubbish. This is really good. It was an hour and a half well spent. The acting was great, the chemistry was amazing, the script was quirky and funny. It moved along really fast. At first I was like, oh, what the fuck's going on? But then I slid into the pace and it was perfect. Callbacks, setups, jokes. Guy, it's really good. This is a good film. I was expecting not to like it, I'll be honest with you. I saw the trailer a few weeks back and I sort of rolled my eyes about it and went, I feel like I've already seen the film. It's going to be this life lesson about this piece of shit and he's going to come around at the end and blah, blah, blah. In a way, yes, but there was a few surprises along the way that I wasn't expecting, and it's really good, guys. You should really see this film and support it, not just because it's Australian, which you should anyway, but it's just a good fucking film. It's just a good time. It's not going to win any awards, but who gives a shit about awards anyway? Solid 3-star film. Well done, Josh Lawson. You fucking kicked it out of the park, mate. A fucking plus. And the message really came across for me. As soon as I walked out of the cinema, I went up to my fiancée, I gave her a kiss and a hug, and told her that I love her. And it just reminded me that tell your loved ones that you love them, because time fucking passes by in an instant. It really does. Like, I can't believe we're in 2021 already. I mean, Jesus Christ, we're already in fucking March. What? So yes, take the time out, take a breather, and yeah, tell your loved ones that you love them. That was the message of this film, and that's what I got from it, and that's what I did. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. Again, like and subscribe. Comment down below what your favourite life lesson comedy is. Like I said, Groundhog Day, Family Man, Click, all that sort of stuff. There's a bunch of them out there. Write down below what's your favourite. And as always, stay spooky, kids.